is that a lot of people will acknowledge you based on your identity of what you do best. I think the best thing, I'm going to go geek out on you a little bit, but there was a scene in Ava I'll never forget, and that was the final episode when Shinji was coming across to his subconscious, and he was confronted with the fact that, well, why do you pilot Ava? I pilot Ava because it protects people. Why do you do it? Because it gives me self-value. Oh, you say that it gives you self-value now. Now, what happens if you didn't pilot it? Well, if I don't pilot Ava, I can't protect everyone. So there you have it. You're only driving the Ava because it's your own identity, and without your identity, you don't have an identity. I contested that a year ago. Again, last year. We're going back in last year instead of present. I decided not to go with my camera and just hang out with my friends instead of going to Lolita Day. But somehow I was forced to go back to Lolita Day because my friend, who was the fashion design major, she needed a book from that place. So I was like, oh, shit, I didn't want to go there because I just wanted a break from it, right?
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of eye contact, but people saw me, but they didn't see me. They were looking for the camera. They didn't see me for the camera. There's a lot of things going on that are good that's happening in the cosplay right now. There's a lot of things that could actually hurt new attendees or new people who will enter the center stage in cosplay. And that is where I find it exciting, but at the same time it could be frightening because it can go from better to worse. Because we're on the brink of a genre that may be slowly dying down now because it became big in the early 2000s, but now we're in the 2011, marching into 2012. We watched a whole convention that was solely purposed in anime, went from turn into a fiesta drama mix, but now is pushed back into a small room in Comic-Con. Like, Comic-Con became an industrial giant. Meanwhile, the anime festival, which was a representation of the genre at its purest, or at least would consider the purest part of it, now it's been bumped down as a little. I have to conclude that it may be dying, but it's up to the attendees or pretty much anyone who has a deep passion for cosplay or the convention of the genre that actually has representation of what the genre represents. It is another form of art that spawned out of a variety of different expressions, to even Disney people too. Yeah. Disney had an involvement with how the genre became spawned out of it.
Yeah.
And it inspires a lot of kids. If there's anything I could say that the genre ever did that helped me, again, I'm going to dork out again, but I'll never forget this one scene. It was a scene of two different scenes, two different genres, two different series. One was Sailor Moon Senshi. Mm-hmm. When I watched a male character die in front of me on the television screen, I never saw a character die, period. So when I saw this one character, not just any character, he was a villain to begin with. And he had someone who believed in the good in him, even to the point where Nephilim actually was falling in love with this person. He died to protect that person, and he became good in the end, even though it cost him his life. It made me believe that no matter what I do in life, in my timeline, there's always room for change. You can change. People can change. And that is actually a quote from the freaking Sailor Moon Says, which is ridiculous, but it actually worked that one time. That is something that may not be reachable, realistically. So I asked myself, what can I do? Well, I can do photographs I can do really nice photos, and there's always room to improve, and I like art, so become a comic book illustrator. The end game is that I want to make a cartoon series one day. I want to involve people that I know in my life and put them in character designs that would connect with viewers. And and inspire children, pretty much. I would like to one day inspire children to be active, do these things, all that stuff. Just for the sake of them to stay away from trouble, like street trouble and all that stuff. I don't want to sound like a PCA commercial or something like that. Parents Association or committee. So, if there's anything I like to do about my photography and everything else, is that I would want to inspire individuals to do what they love doing, but doing it in a matter of respecting others, respecting the people you're with, you work with, and not ever cross bounds with that.
As a photographer, what are your favorite places to shoot?
Where's my favorite place to shoot? Oh gosh darn. There really is no favorite place to shoot, really. I'm not that rich. I don't have that type of power to just say, we'll shoot here, we'll shoot there. It will be magnificent, I tell you. Sometimes I wish I could be the foreign photographer talker because he sounds so fucking hilarious to me, and he'll make anything sound funny or magic. Or the My Little Pony, that little photographer is like, let's make the magics. Like, what the freak is the magics?
Do you, when you, for cosplay photography, this is Astor Cos, so just focus on it a little bit
Yeah,
now.
go ahead.
What elements do you put into your shot? Do you use the background, do you just focus on them?
I see the environment itself and see what I can use.
Yeah.
8 out of 10, I would use the environment background, like the environment itself, but I'll use it for macro purposes for headshots, so I can eliminate the background. It's all about the cosplayer. And also, I would use my almost infamous, greatest assistant that will ever live, and that is called the wall. The wall. It's one color, it's one guy, it's there. And sometimes the second best assistant that I ever have in conventions, the dealer's carpet. Dealer's carpet. One color drop, one solid, one way.
What was the most recent photo shoot you have done?
I'm sorry?
What was the most recent photo shoot outside of a con?
It actually involves a cosplayer too. This one I'll actually mention her name with a lot of pride. Not pride as in like I'm proud of my talents. I'm proud of the fact that how the photo shoot worked out. It all started with my first fashion designer friend, aka Alex London. He needed a model. And what happened was,
A model?
I'm sorry?
What did you say? He needed what?
He needed a model.
A model.
Because the model that was supposed to work with bailed, totally bailed, and there was none available in the fashion modeling agencies. Model agencies were not available. So I recommended this one person who always wanted to work with Alex London, and that was Amelia Soul. Amelia Soul is actually a great Oscar cosplayer who actually been distributed in Anime USA magazine and stuff like that. And it was in last year's 2010 Otakon in a video that inspired me to want to work with her because she had the look of Asuka, and her twin sister also.
Evangelion?
Evangelion.
Are they the Yuri sisters? Or is that a different?
No. She's American.
I know what you're talking about.
I actually got to do a shoot with Amelia Soul, but I didn't get to shoot her sister, who actually made a great raid. She was a cosplayer of 2010's Comic-Con and 2010's Otakon.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to work with her too. But what became a simple go-to type of photo shoot became something much more interesting to me. See, Amelia Stoll always wanted to work with this one designer, and she told me. And I kept her in mind because we started talking, because I wanted to do a photo shoot with her because she was such a good cosplay that I really thought it would be great for like my photo taking, right? Alex had doubts already up the wazoo because, oh, that's a cosplayer. I don't want a cosplayer in my freaking fashion line. or something like that. Anyway, so what happened was, I put my name down the line saying, listen, Alex, I think this person is great.
Yeah.
She meets the requirements as a model. I know their standards, and I know that she meets them already. She has a lack of experience, but I know she can pull this off. And I was like, all right, I will do. If you say that this person can do it, I will believe in you. But if he screws up, if she screws up, then don't ever bother calling me. So now I have something to work with.
Yeah.
And to make it more interesting, Amelia got nervous big time because I was like, I'm working with a fashion designer. I don't know if I can do this, and I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. I'm like, wait a minute. We just spent sessions in Facebook talking about you wanting to work with this designer, and now when I finally give it to you, you don't want to do it. You realize my name is on top of this, right? Like, I'm sorry. No, sorry's not gonna help me right now. So what I had to do, I did copy collection of a lot of Vogue magazine pictures on the internet, and then I showed it to her. And this is where the part where something simple became something more. She started asking. We started critiquing each other, my photo taking to her poses and cosplay, and the critique we gave each other was beautiful because I was able to tell her what I had to say about her work without any problems, and she took it with a grain of salt, and she agreed with some of them. And this is where it led me to how, like, when you're taking a picture of a cosplayer, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth because you're doing a certain pose. We had a few examples where she was in a hurry, she had to get through masquerade, but she did a quick picture for this one fan. It was really bad. It wasn't really good. So we started connecting in a professional level that now it's just about a photographer and a subject being photographed. It's not about cosplay. It's not about a fashion thing. Now it's about us accomplishing a photo shoot in Central Park because we can't afford jack shit on different locations. So we're like, we're in Central Park. This is the best thing we can do. The best I can do. And by the time she and I were over, we spoke for over a good hour, over an hour, about cosplay, fashion, poses, and then we talked about each other, like, how is that cosplay is a beautiful thing. It is no different from an art expression to a hobby that could lead to great things, encouraging positive attitudes, learning to appreciate your environment and an awareness for a better outlook for yourself. As a photographer, it gave me the opportunity to look at things a little bit different, and I couldn't be asked a better gift than that.